Good to see everyone here today. Obviously, it's a tough end of the season. Sean spoke about it. Just the finality of the season ending is always tough, but we're all really encouraged by the progress we made this year. The results weren't what we wanted, but just getting to the playoffs was a big step for the organization. It was a big step for this football team, our fans, obviously. But we have a young team. It was good for them to see what it's like when you get to the playoffs. The playoffs are a lot different. The Buffalo Bills, 8 years as a program, you got to face them. Those are the type of teams you're going to face during the playoffs. So obviously we need to take the next step moving forward. That's going to be our focus throughout the offseason, and look forward to doing that. And with that, I'll take your questions.
George, when you took this job 4 years ago, you talked about the desire to get guys that you can get in, develop, and award second contracts to and keep going. The fact that your 21 class had so much of that this year, and then starting to see some of it from guys in 22 and 23. How much was that part of what you took away from this year?
No, I think it was great. It's a credit to those players, and it's a credit to the coaching staff, Sean, and the coaches developing those players, and the rookies this year, but the player development staff, the sports performance staff. It takes a village to develop these players. We like these players. They have great makeup. I think we had 5 All-Pro players. They all developed at different rates, in different stages. We all want these rookies to be great players right away, and some are. Pat Surtain, he walked in the door. He was an All-Pro. But then you have Quinn Meinertz from Division III Whitewater, and he could barely get in the stance when he got here. But he was uniquely talented. He had the drive. I can go down, Nick Bonito. We knew he was a really good rusher. Could he develop into a 3-down player? And it's a credit to the staff, the Jamar Canes and Michael Wilhoits and those guys, that he took that next step. He's a 3-down player and one of the better players in the league. And Marvin Mims, I can go down the list. Marvin, we felt would be an All-Pro type returner. He was the first 2 years. But the beauty is seeing him develop into a receiver the second half of the season. And then you have, free agent like Zach Allen. We love Zach in Arizona. We love the makeup. We love the motor. Thought he'd help bring the culture together here. And now he's finally getting the notoriety. He had a really big year. He had a good year last year. And so it takes a village. It takes the coaching staff. It takes everyone to put their arms around them. But they also have to have the drive, and that's why you draft players with really good makeup.
George, you talked about closing the gap. I know this is going to be a process, as you know, as you've turned so many corners this year. To turn the next one, what has to happen? What's the process to getting that going, one, and how do you kind of fill up some of those gaps in the run game too, and have what you saw what Buffalo had?
I think the beauty of, and I kind of mentioned it, of going to the playoffs and seeing what it looks like is seeing how close we are or how far we are. And the players, I know, felt after the game this has to be our standard moving forward. We have to go to the playoffs. You're going to play teams like the Bills, like the Ravens, like the Chiefs. And so how do we get there? And really that's our goal this whole offseason, is try to find that secret sauce. We need to have another really good offseason, another really good plan. I know we will. Sean, myself, Greg, the coaches, the scouts will all get together. And it starts, with evaluating your own team, and then, determining your needs, your musts, your wants, as Sean talked about. And then you're trying to fill those all offseason. So that's how you close the gap, have another good offseason, keep developing these young players. We're a young team. We have a rookie quarterback. We have a lot going our way. We have $52 million in cap room. We have a great coaching staff. We have, I think, the best ownership group in the NFL. So we have a lot going in our favor.
George.
We're going to get, we get together in 2 weeks. We want the coaches to get away, the scouts. They're working on various things. And really, we don't want to start talking about our needs right now until we get together. We do a deep dive on our roster. But I appreciate the question.
George, speaking of that rookie quarterback, how did you think Bo Nix's rookie year went, and what steps do you want to see him take from year 1 to year 2?
Yeah, I mean, you all saw it. A pretty incredible rookie year. Bo was a pro the minute he walked in the building for rookie minicamp. You saw the poise throughout the season, poise beyond his years, poise, for a rookie. Just the leadership. He was a captain as a rookie, and that's tough. And, the team embraced him. And so you just look at that, the intangible piece, and then you look at the talent, what he did on the field. A lot of the games looked like they did at Oregon, very accurate, can process, makes quick decisions. He doesn't put the ball in harm's way too often. third least sacks. We talked about that all through the draft process. You saw the arm. He's got really good arm talent. And so I think the thing that you search for through the draft process is he never flinched. We'd be behind in games. We always came back, didn't always win them. We're always looking for that it factor. I talked about it with you guys previously. And you go to Kansas City, that tough environment, he brings us back in field goal range. The Raiders, you can name a bunch of games. Cincinnati, that's a tough place to play. And Bo, man, he raised the level of everyone around him. And so I feel like he has that it factor. Things he need to work on, the coaches will get with him. He knows he has a lot to work on to get to where he wants to be. And that's his mindset. He's been here. It's like, Bo, you got to take a little break. He was here today, he was here yesterday. And so I'm sure he'll get away from it and then jump into it.
Yeah, George. As far as Sean Payton, how about the job he did this year?
He was outstanding. A tremendous job just leading this team, instilling a mindset, a culture. I think when you came in the building, there was a confident level, and so that's Sean's secret sauce. But we had some stretches. We started the season 0-2. Everyone, thought we were done. Then we win 3 in a row, and so. Him being able to get that out of our team. We had a stretch, Kansas City, we missed the field goal. And it's really tough for a coach to go in the locker room after a game like that. And Sean, in about 3 minutes, galvanized the team, and we won 4 in a row. He's done an incredible job. He's an incredible leader, obviously a bright football mind, and we're very lucky to have him.
George, coming into this season, you guys really built up the trenches, offensive line, defensive line over the last couple of years. I guess how did you see that attitude kind of permeate to the rest of the roster, and how important was that in terms of the success?
It's really important. That's how you build from inside out, and that was an area where we had to, 2 years ago, we set the tone. We love Meinertz, we love Cush, but we had to get better, and so we went out and signed Mike McGlinchey, Ben Powers. We felt like our offensive line was going to be set. We lost Cush, but we love Wattenberg, another kid we draft. But, we had to stop the run better. And how are we going to do that? We had some pieces in place. And signing Malcolm Roach was a huge addition. Maybe, could have been our best addition of the offseason in free agency. And then we were able to trade for JFM. And so we had a good front line, then we had depth. And really that's the trick, on defense. Having a wave in the defensive line. We had a wave at outside backer. Our guys never tired. Zach Allen wouldn't come off the field, but we did have a nice wave. And like you said, it permeates your team, your organization.
Hi, George. You mentioned the $52 million cap room. With that in mind, how will your approach be in free agency, and maybe how will it differ from last season when you had the bigger Russell Wilson dead cap hit?
I think we'll be measured. I think it worked out for us last year. We were very measured. We picked our spots. We were very strategic. It worked out. I just don't think it. You can't go crazy every year. The first year here we wanted to set the tone, and I talked about it with the O-line and the Zach Allens of the world. We were measured. Still got some really good players. And Brandon Jones. I talked about Malcolm Roach. Made a few trades that we really like. So we'll see. We could be really aggressive, but. I think we'll have a more measured approach and still upgrade our team.
George, right here.
How you doing?
With Nick Benito just finishing up his 3rd season in the league, do you plan to go into the offseason and negotiate with contract extension talks, and how important would it be to have him and Coop together for the foreseeable future?
It's a really good question. We haven't even had those conversations yet. Nick has had a great year. Obviously, we'd love to have Nick here long term. We love Coop. We like the group. But we haven't had those discussions yet, so we'll see where that goes.
George, there's a lot of talk about culture and finding guys that fit. So the last couple of years working with Sean and just your own experience, what are kind of some things that you and your staff do to kind of find players to fit the culture? Because it's not always obvious just on film like football attributes are.
Yeah, the coaches that get, our scouts get into these schools. They have great resources. We have great scouts, and they dig on these players, the makeup, the football character, how much they love football, how much they like practice. This is hard. This team that we have here, they all love practice. They love the process. So we're looking for guys like that. Mentally, how are they? Our guys, they have to be really smart for what we're doing. And so mentally, the personal character, that's really important. So we, if they don't have that, they're off our board, and it's pretty simple. And then we're just evaluating the talent. And even then, Sean is really clear what he's looking for at every position. I talk about that all the time. I talk about it in the draft. And so our scouts are experts in what we're looking for from a personal, from a makeup standpoint, and from a talent standpoint.
Hey, George, now that you have a potential foundational quarterback in place, does your approach to roster building change at all? Do you cater a little bit maybe more toward offense or anything?
I think, no, that's a great question. And, we're all searching for that rookie quarterback who has franchise skills. And, I think we have that. And so what do? And we just keep building. You draft and you develop. You're selective in free agency, but you may make a splash. But we're always trying to build this thing. We're fortunate. We think we have our guy in Bo. And we just keep building and bringing in the right guys and the right makeup and guys that fit what we're doing schematically, offensively, defensively, and special teams.
When Sean was in New Orleans, he routinely had some of the older rosters in the league. This year, you guys had to be young for a lot of reasons. Is that a discussion you have with him, the benefits of that and draft picks and that sort of thing?
Yeah, Sean was all in last year. We had no choice. And we could have taken less of a hit last year, but we wanted to take the full hit because we were going to go young. And Sean emphasized that to the coaches. We're playing our young players, the Riley Mosses of the world, the Nick Benitos. We're playing our young players, develop them. And so that came from Sean and I and Greg. And he understands the importance of the draft. Some of his best years are because of some of those drafts that he had. The 17 draft, I can't remember the years, but he talks about them a lot. And they did. He was really Reggie Bush, I think. So anyway, no, Sean understands the importance of draft develop. We did it this year. But if there's a vet out there that we like and can help our football team, we'll certainly be interested.